a team works together. And I did not feel at the time I was with Prentice that his team was actually working to support the Prime Minister at all times.
What is their plan? They put out generalities, but who are they proposing to cut? Tell us what and where.
When you call an election, anything can happen. And so my goal is to do whatever needs to be done to ensure that we get different leadership in that legislature.
There was on the top of this steel lamppost a woodpecker pecking away on the top of this steel lamppost, making all kinds of noise, getting no joy. Reminded me so much of this Tory government.
Welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Chris Varcoe with the Calgary Herald, joined by Don Braid. Don, we had the election call this week. I think everybody assumed we were in for a sleepwalk where the Tories would bank 70 or 80 seats and nobody would wake up. But all of a sudden, we've got a real race.
Yeah, we sort of like we're sleepwalking and banged into a wall and woke up real fast because the first week has been very competitive, very interesting, with strong campaigns from most of the people involved for sure. So it's a lot livelier, and I think there's a lot more public interest than people expected.
Jim Prentice is a seasoned campaigner, a federal minister. He's, just fresh off winning the Tory nomination, leadership rather, just 7 or 8 months ago. How did you think he did, though, in this first week?
Well, they're in lockdown. They've got everything planned. They know what he's going to do. He stays on message. He never leaves it. You can't get him off the message of tough times coming. We're the best people to handle it. But there's still some surprises that they were probably expecting, but I didn't. Going after the NDP on the first day of a campaign is an absolute first for an Alberta PC premier. It's never happened before. So there's things that they're trying to cover off that they maybe weren't expecting.
Okay. What about the opposition? If we believe the polls, this is a three-way race, and we've got the NDP doing very well in Edmonton, and surprisingly other parts of the province. We've got the Wild Rose seemingly strong in most parts of the province as well, and then we obviously have the Tories and then the Liberals somewhere behind. But how did you feel that the three opposition parties did?
Well, starting with the Liberals, they really don't have much of a campaign. David Swan has come up with a couple of interesting platforms. They got something interesting on corporate taxes, came out with agenda equal pay for work of equal value. So they got some policies that basically feel more like David Swan policies than pure Liberal policies, but they really don't have that much going on. Wild Rose is very focused. They know what they're trying to do, but their leader went off message at least once this week when he started trying to say that Prentice was trying to stab Stephen Harper in the back when they were MPs together in Ottawa, and he's got there's really no point in that. Why?
It's a peculiar moment, isn't it?
Very peculiar moment. So you get the feeling that Jean could go a little off the rails at some point. Now the NDP, they're the surprise, the real surprise. They've got a strong campaign. They got good people in. They came up with their extremist of the day trick. They're lively, and they've got a lot of public support going. So they're going to be interesting.
If there was one theme really, or one issue that maybe dominated the campaign, it was jobs. We had the NDP talking about trying to create small business jobs. We had Prentice warning that either the main opposition parties would imperil jobs because the NDP would, tax businesses, and he says that will destroy jobs. And then on the other side, he says that the Wild Rose would cut so heavily in government spending that you'd actually destroy jobs in terms of infrastructure spending. Why is jobs so important, and who's winning that fight?
Well, first of all, they're important because I think we lost 18,400 permanent jobs last month, and we gained 19,000 part-time jobs, but the employment rate is going up.
Right.
It's a kind of a funny game because Prentice is claiming the NDP policies would cost jobs, but meanwhile, under PC policy currently, jobs are being shed like crazy. What's really costing jobs is low oil prices, and I'm not entirely convinced, maybe others aren't, that raising corporate taxes a tick would cost more jobs or many more jobs. So who's winning that one? Well, Prentice is trying to establish that he is the only one who can handle this. And the others are saying not true, and the public will have to decide.
Lastly, we saw a spate of polls before the campaign was called that seemed to show a narrowing of the gap between the Tories and everyone else. But now, lo and behold, we've had a couple of polls showing that the Tories might be second, might even be third. But I guess the bottom line is it's too close to call. They're all within the margin of error. And it seems to be a much fluider situation than I thought would we be looking at.
Oh, no kidding. Those polls are really, really startling, to the point where people almost can't believe them. So what the PCs are trying to do now are turn people's mind to the weakness of the other parties, the relative weakness, the fact that they're not fully provincial, all these other things they've got to go after them with. But I can tell you that they've got their ducks in a row. They know where to go to hit the hot spots of public opinion, like the extremism charged against the NDP. A lot of people really do think the NDP is extreme. So I think these are early bubble polls that show a lot of public discontent and some anger, and we'll see where it goes. But it's hard to imagine those numbers holding on Election Day.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.